Hello class, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to clean your brushes. If you've been painting for any length of time, you will have a multitude of dirty brushes that need to be cleaned. If you clean them right, you can have these brushes for years and years and years. If you don't clean them right, you will not even get them to last you for the entire semester. So, we'll go ahead and get started. The things you're going to need in order to clean your brushes well is, a dirty brush to start. You're going to need a jar of mineral spirits, and you're going to need a dirty rag. If you have a silicoil jar, this is great. This has a steel coil in it that'll help you work the paint out of your bristles. But if you don't have that, that's fine. This jar of mineral spirits will work just fine. Okay, so a little bit about brushes, the anatomy of a brush. So first of all, brushes are made up of different parts. You've got your bristles on the top, you've got the steel ferrule under the bristles, and then you've got the usually a wooden handle, sometimes a plastic handle. What happens is you load the bristles with paint and you paint for a long time. The paint actually goes into the bristles, and the bristles continue on into the ferrule, so the ferrule is actually full of paint after you've been painting, really even for 10 or 15 minutes. Depending on how thick or thin your paint is, you'll get more or less paint in the ferrule, and you really need to get that paint out so your brushes last as long as they can. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do with your dirty brush is you're going to take your rag and you're going to try to get as much of the excess paint out as possible. You need to do this relatively carefully, so you're not going to jam your brush into the rag. You're just going to carefully work it out and kind of wiggle the bristles as you pull, like so. It's important that you maintain the shape of the bristles so that the brush doesn't become misshapen, and then you can't really use it very easily at all. Okay, so I'm not really getting much more out of this paintbrush. If we take this clear white palette, you can see most of the paint is gone. It's not really making any marks, but there is some residue, and we're going to clean that up. So I'm going to open my mineral spirits jar. This is odorless mineral spirits, and it is relatively, it's low fumes. So you can see in the jar there is mineral spirits on the top, and there's actually paint sediment at the bottom. So we do not want to stir that up into the mixture, so we're going to clean our brushes when we're done and not until then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get mineral spirits on the brush, and then along the edge of the jar, I'm just going to, in one little area, I'm going to pull the brush upward, letting the mineral spirits kind of grab hold of the pigment inside the bristles and then pull it out. And you can actually see as you do this, it looks like little clouds of paint leaving your bristles. After you've done that a couple times, you can pull a little bit more out with the rags, and then repeat. You want to do this until your brush runs clear. If you've been painting for a while and you're using a color that's really saturated, like reds or yellows or whatever, sometimes this can take a little bit longer, but usually if it's a small brush, you haven't been using it much, you could probably get it done in just a couple of swipes. Alright, so this brush is actually clean, and it's not going to get much cleaner. However, the next step would be to take this to the sink and wash it. For this part, you're going to need your mostly clean brush and brush cleaner. So I want to make a point real quick, an environmental point. Basically, the paint we use in the classroom has a lot of things that we don't want to send down the drain. So you really want to get this as clean as possible. It doesn't matter if it's oil, acrylic, watercolor, latex. All these different paints use the same pigments, and for the most part, these are not good for the environment. I have been told by the OSHA representative that we produce such a small amount of it that we don't really need to worry about it, but we can worry about it as much as we want. So I would say, be as careful with it as you can. So this is really pretty self-explanatory. The only thing I really think I need to stress here is you never want to jam your brush into anything. You always want to pull it so that the bristles are drawn the length of the brush. So you never want to go this way. You always want to pull it. Never push, only pull. So this is a little bit of soap. So I'm getting a little bit of soap on my brush. So I get a little soap on my brush, and then in my hand, I'm just going to kind of run it around. A little bit more soap, a little bit of water. Soap molecules will grab the paint and hold on to them a little bit better actually than the mineral spirits will. The mineral spirits will just dissolve the oil that's inside of the paint. This doesn't take very long. And again, you just want to make sure you keep the bristles shaped as nicely as you can. All right, there we go. We have a very clean brush that will be ready for the next time we need to paint. If you have any questions about how to do this at home that I didn't cover because your situation is unique, you just let me know and I'll help you out. Thanks very much. Have a good one. Goodbye.